John Maxwell once said, "A manager says go, but a leader says let's go." And someone once quipped, "When I talk to managers, I get the feeling that they are important. When I talk to leaders, I get the feeling that I am important." The relationship between leadership and management has been debated about for decades. Many of us have had bosses who were great managers in a practical sense, but not great leaders. On the flip side, the world has seen many great, inspiring, visionary leaders who had very little actual management skill. Arguably, the best leader or manager would be one who possesses both attributes. But how do we cultivate these characteristics in ourselves? How do we balance and maintain the skills and methodologies of management along with the deeper qualities and characteristics of leadership? In this course, we're going to teach you how to do exactly that.
Over 70% of companies say they're experiencing a leadership gap. 58% of managers report they never received any management training. 71% of workers say their managers lack critical leadership skills like delegation, time management, and team building. And the future isn't looking much brighter. 63% of millennials say their leadership skills have not been sufficiently developed. These statistics show that leadership is an increasingly important area that businesses should focus on. Our course is going to consist of a series of critical discussion points. These are designed to cover this broad topic as thoroughly as possible, to encourage growth in these vital areas, and to facilitate a real and fruitful discussion within your organization about how you can each improve on this essential characteristic, both at work and in your personal lives in general. Some of these will be pretty lengthy, and some will be relatively straightforward and brief. At the very end of this roadmap comes the most important final step. Discussion time. Do not skip this. This is the most important part of this training. When you finish this course, you need to spend at least an hour or so going over the questions we supply at the end as a group. Whoever's the head honcho in the group should designate a facilitator whose responsibility it is that each question is covered and that everyone, time permitting, is able to have their say. Make sure all contributions are valued, all suggestions considered, and all opinions respected. So let's move into the first discussion point. Who are leaders? There's no role in the company that just says leader exactly. A leader is a person who embodies certain traits or qualities. They're someone who influences people to follow them. Leaders make change happen. They are at the helm of the organization, so they should have a clear vision and thus give direction that follows from that vision. To an extent, leaders are also managers, since they must have high performers on board, but mainly, leaders are the driving force that spurs the organization onward. Leaders naturally have followers, but they can also have subordinates. Of course, leaders of an organization have followers as well as subordinates because they also function as managers. Leaders have a certain level of charisma, and they appeal to people in such a way that they are compelled to follow the leader even if what they're walking into is a potentially risky situation. It follows that leaders are focused on and good at dealing with people, though at the same time, they maintain a respectful distance from their followers. Leaders seek risk, though in manageable amounts. They face obstacles and issues that may end up serving the company's goals rather than hindering it. Leaders may even break rules in order to see their goals achieved. Here are some qualities that leaders have. Has vision. Can commit to the vision. Creative. Flexible. Inspirational and motivational. Positive and enthusiastic. Responsible. Trustworthy. Communicative. Goal-oriented. Leads by example. Honest and has integrity. Cultivates a team of talented personnel. Sets high standards and also achieves them. Can appropriately delegate tasks. Capable of giving honest feedback and isn't afraid of challenging the established order of things. Who are managers? Managers basically handle projects or things like projects, budgets, and timelines, and people, for example, their team and their clients. The job of a manager is to keep everything in line. They do things by the book and or as upper management dictates. Managers command subordinates. Their authority is vested in them by the company, and in return, the manager ensures that their authority is used as intended. Managers tell their people what to do, and the subordinates do it, for a reward, which is most likely their salary. Managers themselves are subordinate to upper management, and as such, they too are paid. Managers focus on work, and their focus is shared with their team members. Managers tend to avoid risks and conflict whenever possible. They implement whatever procedures are needed in order to reach the goals set by management, who are the leaders. Managers get things done. Here are a couple of skills that a manager just can't be without. Has vision and can follow through with it. Inspirational and motivational. Capable of directing others. Organized. Communicative. Has interpersonal skills. Mentors their staff. Capable of handling procedures. Capable of planning ahead. Can appropriately delegate tasks, and is a strategic thinker and problem solver. One as opposed to the other. To further our understanding of the two concepts of leadership and management, here's more on how different they are from one another. Leadership is making positive transformative change. It involves creating a strategy that'll point the way to that change. People should be empowered to make the organization's vision happen, even though obstacles are in their path, and leaders must empower those people. Leadership, therefore, creates a team of motivated people who can move the company forward. Management, on the other hand, deals with controlling things and/or people. Managers keep everything organized. They regulate and conduct their staff in a way that follows the rules set by the company. There's a system in place, and managers may also use tools to ensure their numbers don't drop. So managers plan and coordinate. Leaders inspire and arouse enthusiasm. Leadership means leading a group in a pursuit of a predetermined goal. Leaders share their vision to others, then inspire and motivate people to overcome obstacles on the path to that vision. Management means guiding the confused, motivating the unmotivated, and directing the directionless toward an agreed upon, usually similar goal day in and day out. Leadership requires a particular skill set, which we'd already discussed earlier. Inversely, managers manage. They don't lead. Managing just involves planning, forecasting, controlling, working on the budget, delegating tasks, and evaluating them. Managers assign work to their staff, evaluate work and outputs, counsel their team members about performance problems, and hire and fire staff members. The manager knows what to do and calls the shots. Nobody questions it. The duties of the manager. Here are some things managers are responsible for. 1. Planning projects as well as tactical actions. 2. Implementing said projects. 3. Problem solving. 4. Organizing personnel or organizational activities or duties. 5. Creating detailed budgets. 6. Creating performance reports and evaluating them. 7. Recruitment. 8. Motivating and encouraging others. 9. Monitoring whether their staff act ethically. 10. Developing their team members' talents and progress both personally and professionally. 11. Enforcing the organization's rules and regulations. 12. Disciplining team members. 13. Improving the productivity and efficiency of their personnel and company processes. And 14. Delegating tasks to and training their team members. The duties of the leader. Here are some things leaders are responsible for. 1. Devising visions and aims which provide direction for the staff. 2. Establishing targets for the organization, such as financial targets, etc. 3. Anticipating problems. 4. Visualizing potential situations, opportunities, consequences, end results, and such. 5. Determining what things need to be evaluated and reported on. 6. Creating new policies. 7. Creating rules, particularly those relating to discipline. 8. Concocting new roles within the organization. 9. Deciding on new groups or hierarchies within the organization. 10. Determining moral orientations of the company's personnel. 11. Encouraging the people around them. 12. Developing their team members, groups within the company, and of course the organization. 13. Planning succession as well as organizing it afterwards. And 14. All management responsibilities which are listed in the previous section, though they are usually delegated to other people, especially those which promote motivation and the development of their staff. Which one's the more important of the two? Now, you may be thinking that leadership and management are entirely different. Their roles and their actions depend on one another. They're both key to the company's development. Neither one is more superior than the other. Together, they ensure that the company operates satisfactorily. Leaders and managers are different with regards to the way they motivate their staff, and this establishes the manner in which they act on their authority. So if there aren't any leaders, there's no new direction in which to take the company. It'll stagnate in the blink of an eye. And if there aren't any managers, then there's no structure or authority to preserve order within the organization. Leadership or management. In being what they are, they complement one another and allow a company to function properly. If you want to be successful, you need to be an adept leader as well as a tough manager, especially if you're the proprietor, CEO, or president of your organization. One person can't run a company alone. You need personnel on board, and you need to persuade people to be on your side, on your team. Without a team, you can't pursue the larger goals you seek to accomplish. Many managers completely handle their tasks. They usually aren't as stimulating as the ideal leader we've discussed, but they get the job done, and that's what's important. However, having leaders is also incredibly important. Leaders inspire transformation. They're probably not as meticulous as a manager, but they spur their people towards a common goal, and that's vital to the organization. No need to choose sides. One doesn't need to be 100% leader or 100% manager all the time for their entire life. You can balance it out and make use of the other's tactics as the situation requires. Apply your leadership skills if you're sure you have a team of people who know their roles and what they're meant to do. Additionally, they should also know what the company's goals are. They'll mesh well with the leader, as they already know the drill. With them, you can put your heads together to create inventive, off-the-wall ideas. Conversely, you've got to be the manager when your people are new to the job or don't have a solid grasp of what they're meant to do. A manager must guide their team members well. Observe how they're doing with regards to their outputs, as well as how they're handling themselves. Don't forget about your most important resource, your people. Everybody's different, and they're not robots either. There's no standard button to push for everyone to start working, or work harder, or stop working. Whether manager or leader, they've got their own ways of getting their people to do what they need to get done. People need to be managed, as well as motivated. Though when you think of management, we don't think of dealing with people's emotional well-being. Management is task-based, results-oriented, but that makes everything feel too robotic, too detached from emotional connection. If employees aren't personally invested in the company's objectives, or their leaders, or even one another, they'll become disengaged and unmotivated in the long run. Leaders and managers have to take this into account when dealing with their staff. They need empathy and trust to lead their teams. And in turn, their teams will be motivated to work harder for the sake of their leaders. Suck in a deep breath and speak your mind. Ideas are a two-way street. The team has to have more than one source of ideas. Let someone else talk. Let someone else share their knowledge. Let someone else pitch an idea. Who knows? It just might be the perfect one to solve the issue at hand. Though be warned that there can be deterrents to this, and that's a lack of trust. Your employees can read the room, and if they don't feel that their contributions will be of use to the team or even handled with care, they'll withhold their input, and you'll be one potentially groundbreaking idea short. If there's an issue with trust in the group, you, the leader, need to figure out the reason why this is so and eliminate it. Now, to the employees. Sometimes you just have to take in a deep breath and tell your manager what's on your mind. Of course, when you're in a company environment, you're usually of the mindset that if you're not a higher up, you need to pipe down. But there will be times where you just can't stand idly by and watch other people change things for you. You have to air things out, point out flaws that people might not have noticed or that people are too afraid to talk about. You don't always have to be quiet, and you don't have to interject every few seconds. You can start by speaking up every now and again. You're a human being, and you deserve to have your opinions heard. That's how leaders are made, after all. So don't be afraid to ask questions or recommend an action. Look inside yourself to bring out the true leader within. If you aspire to become a leader, you need high standards, and that means creating a vision for yourself. What do you want? Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? This vision will drive you forwards in pursuit of your goals. Consider the following questions. Are you an exemplary employee? You must work hard. Not only that, you'll need to work smarter too. Be active. Be curious. Be ready to jump as high as your manager or leader asks. If the situation requires it, jump a little higher than that, for good measure. Are you exceeding the yardsticks your manager has given you? Also, make your results conspicuous. It'll make sure your bosses have no choice but to acknowledge you for your hard work. Once you become a leader in your own right, you've still got to work just as hard as the people you're commanding. As for the people you surround yourself with, are they leader material? Are they dedicated to the company and furthering its development? You've got to get to know more of such people in your organization. These people will support you and give you advice as time goes on. Are you capable of putting in the work to achieve your objectives? And are you determined to do so over a certain period of time? Be disciplined. You'll be in this for the long haul, so tuck in. And now, it's discussion time. The most important part of this training. Whoever's the head honcho in the group should designate a facilitator whose responsibility it is that each of the questions you see on your screen is covered, and that everyone, time permitting, is able to have their say. Make sure all contributions are valued, all suggestions considered, and all opinions respected.